Oh my gosh. I am just baffled right now, you guys. Oh my gosh. Sorry. Right when I was getting ready to record this video, me and my mom was just having a conversation about stuff, and she was telling me that the Steve Harvey show got canceled. Like, I be working so much, I didn't even keep up with it in the news. So I'm just like, the Steve Harvey show got canceled? All right, whatever. I wanted to make this video really quick about the Grand Celebration Paradise Bahamas. It's if you don't know what it is a 2-day cruise to the Bahamas. And I recently went on it, me and my boyfriend, and I just wanted to go somewhere. I had a week off from work, so I wanted to go somewhere really quick on a cruise, and they had a really good deal with the travel benefit program that I have with my job. So, and I couldn't go on a long cruise. It was July 4th weekend, so I didn't want to go on like a 5-day or a 4-day cruise because I didn't want to get stuck and not able to get back home because of the actual holiday weekend. So I just wanted to do something really quick. So we ended up getting a discount for it, actually, which was honestly really good. The original price for the cabin was really good, and some perks that I'll talk about in a second. But what kind of scared me was because I started reading reviews. And the reviews were horrendous, honestly. Like, it really made me second guess whether I wanted to go on this cruise or not. And I was just like, it cannot be that bad. And I mean, I've been on other cruise ships before, mostly Carnival. So I really think that these reviews were coming from people that have been on Carnival or Norwegian, if I'm saying it right, Royal Caribbean or whatever. But for the price that it was, and for what it was worth, the 2 days, just a quick turnaround trip. It was 3 days, 2 nights. You kind of gotta expect you're gonna get what you're paying for. So let's get into that. First off, the price. I'm not gonna tell you the exact price that it was that we got from the travel benefit program that I have for my job, but it was a good price. It was less than $100 a night per person. Well, let me rephrase that. It was less than $100 for the 2 nights per person. So I had to pay for 2. And that was perfectly fine. Now, the thing that made the price go up a little bit more were the taxes and the fees. The taxes and the fees per person were over $100. So I'm just sitting here like, the taxes and the fees cost more than the trip. But, you know, okay, but the total price was still decent for a 3-day, 2-night cruise. So I was like, okay, this is a little decent. And it actually came with a 10 coupon drink package that was for free. They didn't do like the wristbands for unlimited drinks or anything like that. They had coupons for drinks, the 10 drink coupon. And actually, I'm thinking that we were gonna go through those the first day, really, and we were gonna I was gonna have to buy another drink package, but honestly, we didn't. The drinks weren't watered down. They weren't watered down like I thought they were gonna be. They actually were strong. As soon as we got on the boat, we had a blue, and it literally kind of took us out. Like, we had to go take a nap really quick before we started doing the festivities on the boat. So I was very pleasantly surprised about the drinks, because some cruise ships you'll see when you have those drink packages that the drinks are kind of weak. But I will say that this cruise, the drinks were very strong. They didn't try to cheap you out on the liquor. With that being said, let's talk about the fees first, because a lot of people may get surprised about the extra fees that you're gonna spend. So I spent this one amount of money to book the trip, get the trip booked, and all this other. But at the end, you're gonna pay this other amount of money for fuel. The fuel for the ship, that's guaranteed each person per day. They're going to charge you that. Then they charge gratuities on anything that you do as far as like purchasing stuff or doing things on the boat. So even though I had the 10 drink coupon, I still was getting charged gratuity on the drink that they were giving me, if that makes sense to you. Like, say the drink was $9 or $12, they're gonna charge me an 18% gratuity on that drink, even though I got that drink for free because I had a coupon. So that is gonna be added on to your last final bill from the cruise as well. What else? If you eat in the other dining room, not the buffet, but if you actually get menu items, we went on we did a dinner one night where we had steak and lobster and asparagus, and oh my goodness, the food was amazing that night that we had dinner. I am not even gonna lie to you. If you can afford it, please go do that dinner. I think it was the Admiral Steak and Seafood, but it was so good. I mean, my steak was cooked perfectly. I like my steak medium. He likes his steak well done. But it was so good. They cooked both steaks perfectly. And I don't know if you've ever experienced going to a restaurant where you may order your steak completely different, well, medium, and someone else orders their steak well. The steaks don't, either your steak is going to be cold from medium because they put them on at the same time, or whatever. It's just not perfect, right? And our steaks, both of them, were perfectly the way that we asked that we wanted them. The lobster tail was a good sized lobster tail. The butter was good. The asparagus. We had scallops, a shrimp and crab claw cocktail. It was so good. Like, I can't even express to you how good that dinner was. So that was pleasantly surprising. It was a little bit on the pricey side, but to me it was worth it. It was really worth it. And then of course you're going to pay 18% gratuity on that, so that's going to be added as well. So let's get into the process, the whole process, getting on the ship and all of that. Sorry, I just got up. I need my coffee. Okay, when we got to the port, I have my passport. He does not have his passport, so he brought his birth certificate and another form of ID, a picture ID. Getting on the boat was very easy, especially with him having the birth certificate and me having a passport. It was very easy. There was someone, as soon as we got out of the car, that checked our bags and put our name tags on our bags and what cabin we were staying in. Then we proceeded to go through security. Someone else checked our passport, my passport, and his birth certificate. Then we had to go through the metal detectors, and kind of like a TSA thing. You put your bags on the rolly thing, and they check you. You go through this metal detector, and then you go drop your bags off. We went, dropped our bags off, and then we proceeded to go upstairs. When you go upstairs, you have to wait in line to actually get your room keys and just take your picture for the ship, and you get your actual key card. I could have went into the passport line, but I didn't want to just leave him in the birth certificate line. So, and it was a lot of people like that, like families where the parents may have their passports and the children don't have their passports yet. So the line was kind of long. It was kind of long, but I will say the line moved kind of quickly. We probably stood in line for maybe about 30 minutes. And it was a long line, but that line actually moved kind of quickly to get us through. And you take your picture for the ship, and you get your actual key card. Now that key card is what you show every time that you order a drink or you're eating at the... My mom is texting me like crazy. Alright, honey, you're gonna have to go on silent. So anyways, you get your key card. Then you proceed to go to where the excursions and the drink packages and stuff like that are. Now, I already knew that we wanted to do the jet ski excursion, and so they had the excursions there. Well, let me go back. Then you take your picture. The famous, oh, it's our time on the boat picture. It's right there after you get your cards, before you go to where you buy your extras, and you go ahead and snap your picture. I think the lady snapped it like twice, told me to put my hand on my hip. She was nice. And then we went, the first thing was the dinner packages. And so they gave us a reservation, and they said that they wouldn't charge you right then and there. They was only going to charge you if you actually did the dinner. And we actually did the dinner, and it was amazing. I can't express how amazing it was. So after that, we went to the excursions, and I went ahead and booked the jet ski excursion for us. And they told us a little information about it and told us that our tickets for the excursion would be delivered to our room at a later time that day. And then they had, if you wanted to buy a bottle of liquor for your room, or if you wanted to buy drink packages. Yes, if you wanted to buy a bottle of liquor for your room. So that's something that some cruise lines I hadn't seen or didn't know that they did, but they actually would let you buy a bottle of liquor, and it will be delivered to your room so you could have extra liquor. Now, the reason why we did not do that is because we already had our 10 coupon drink package, and the bottles were like $100. There was no bottle that was less than $99 at that time, right then and there. So we were like, no, gotta go. And then they had a casino, of course, on the boat. So if you want your player's card, now that was something that was different as well too, because I know a lot of casinos you could just use your room card and it'll charge you later. They actually had player cards that you would have to sign up for and buy and get to actually gamble in the casino. So after all of that, after you walk through all of the extra stuff, then that's when you actually go ahead and get ready to go through that little tunnel and make your way on the boat. It was all a pretty quick process, and got through the tunnel, and it wasn't crowded. I don't know. We went in July, so hurricane season from July to October, but we went in the beginning of July. We went July 1st. So the ship wasn't that crowded. I will say that, because I've been on some cruises where it was just ridiculously crowded. And I will say that it was just a pleasant getting on the boat. We went and got us a drink and sat out there to see the ship sail. I believe the ship took off at like 5:30. I think you could start boarding the ship at 12. I think we got to the port at like 12:30. So we had a lot of time. That's why I said we drank that one drink and took a nap and got up in enough time to actually see us leaving the port. And we left from West Palm Beach. So it was nice. The first night on the cruise, of course, they have different activities. They have different shows. So, I mean, honestly, a cruise is really what you make it. If you want to go to the shows and if you want to mingle and party. And I had actually brought a deck of Uno cards and a deck of regular playing cards. So, whenever we just had some little downtime, sit outside and play some cards. And we did, and that was fun as well. When you get to the Bahamas, we got to the Bahamas at 7 o'clock that next morning. But we had to wait before we got off the boat because you had to get with your group for your excursion. And that wasn't until like 10:45. So even though we got to the Bahamas at 7 o'clock in the morning, we weren't getting off the boat until about 10:45 because we had to actually go to where they told our group to go and get our wristbands for the excursion and walk off the boat together. Now, here's where things were kind of like, getting off the boat was easy, completely easy. You scan your little key card, you were good. Walking through the port in the Bahamas was a little sketchy. It just looked like a prison camp, first off. And then when we were going through the port, they, of course, I had my phone out and I was recording stuff. And this guy was sitting in this little rolly wheelchair, and he was like, "Hey, put your phone down." And I'm like, but why? And so it just kind of made me feel, and our guide, he was like, "They don't want you recording in the port." I'm like, okay. And they got these big, I didn't see the sign but until afterwards, but they have these big signs like no camcorders, no phone, no recording. But why? So that was just kind of like, okay. And so then we all piled up on 2 buses. Everyone that got off the boat, we piled up on 2 buses, and we actually drove for about 15 minutes away from the port to something else, because when we got to the port, there's nothing really around there, for real. You literally either have to take a cab or take the bus like we did and go to the other part of the island that we wanted to do. And once we got there, it was nice though. I forgot what her name was, but the lady that was over us, she explained how everything was gonna work. She explained what everyone would go and do different things. We were the last ones to be dismissed because we had to go to the marina. That was a little short walk. It was crazy because we literally had to walk down the street around the corner to where we were going to pick our jet skis up. Now, the jet ski excursion, depending on what you want to do an excursion, have fun with it. I am very glad that we picked the jet ski excursion. I like jet skis, and it was fun. It was actually fun. We got to go to this private island, get off, take a couple of pictures. He found us some real sand dollars, some conchs. We got to hold and pet a starfish, and just, you know, wild out, take a couple of pictures, jump into the water. It was really fun. And then, and we went far, actually. We went really far out. We got to go really, really fast. Like, I was kind of scared really fast. I was driving our jet ski most of the time, and then when my boyfriend decided to switch, I'm just sitting on the back like, oh my God, oh my God. But that's because I like to be in control of things, and I couldn't control it, and I thought we were gonna fall, and I did not want to fall off because I had my phone and stuff with me. So, but it was fun. And once we got finished riding the jet skis, we had an all-you-could-eat buffet that was included with it, back on the beach where everyone else that had their excursions met back up at, and then we had an open bar. So that was actually a lot of fun, and was worth doing. We got burnt up by the sun because we didn't put on sunscreen, but it was fun. Getting back on the boat was pretty easy from the Bahamas. Getting back on the boat, just show your key card, and they swipe your key card, and everything was cool. And then we actually went to dinner that night and had the wonderful dinner, and just relax. And you have different shows, of course. Again, that next night you can gamble, comedy shows. They had an acrobatic show. There had a lot of different things on the boat that you could do on, you know, sailing back. Once we got back to the port and was getting ready to get off, we should have, now this is my fault, we should have got off the boat early. Of course, they have different deck times of when you can get off the boat, or if you have an early flight or something like that, they'll let you get off early. We should have just went ahead and got off early with everybody else, but no, we decided to wait. We ate breakfast. We decided to wait because I'm thinking that it was just going to be a jam-packed line of everybody trying to get off early. By the time that we got off the boat, it was still a jam-packed line because the actual port was, customs and immigration was so backed up that it was backing up people getting off of the boat. So we literally stood in line to get off the boat for about an hour. Literally, me and Babe pulled out the Uno cards and started playing cards, talking to everybody waiting in line. Once we finally got off the boat and got in the port for immigration and customs, that took us 2 hours. 2 hours. Now, and this is why I told him he has to get a passport. If we both would have had a passport, it would have been way easier because the line was so much shorter. Remember I told you that line in the beginning? If you didn't have a passport and birth certificate, that long line that we had to wait in, but it went through quickly. Not so quickly getting off of the boat back into West Palm Beach. It was a very long line, and of course they asked you all these questions, and I don't know what was taking so long. Because once we got up to the desk, finally, I don't know if it was because of our occupations, but once we got to the desk, it was like that. It was quick. But it just felt like the line was taking forever. We literally stood in that line for 2 hours. And the people that had the birth certificate, the actual passports, they just zoomed right through because the line was so short. But it's all good. So, depending on what you make it. I know a lot of people have high standards. And so, yeah, if you have high standards, then that cruise ship is not for you. The cruise ship, honestly, is an old Carnival ship. And so when I say old, it's just a little outdated. It doesn't have all the fancy lights and all this other blinking, flashing stuff that the actual, Carnival has right now. But they have about the same things. Instead of 2 buffets in 2 different places, they have just one. Instead of 2 fancy restaurants to pick from that you could actually do a dinner and a captain's dinner, they only have one, and they didn't have a captain's dinner. Excuse me. Ugh. So, it's just different. It's just different. But if you do want to go somewhere that's quick and easy, just to get away for a little bit. It was actually fun. And I mean, like I said, it's what you make it. It's really what you make it. And you have to have an open mind about things. And you have to understand, it's not the carnival. Duh. So, I mean, all of the bad reviews that I see about it, I don't know, maybe their expectations was something else. But I already went into it expecting the worst because I saw all of these bad reviews. But I really just wanted to get away. And I wanted a vacation. So honestly, it is what it is. We had an oceanfront room. Our room wasn't bad. It was clean. Nice little view. We actually had a great view because we always were on the side where you could see something. Leaving the port, you could see something. Coming into the Bahamas, you could see the port. Like, we had a great view. So, I mean, yeah, honestly, give it a try. They definitely don't pay me to make this review because if they did, I'd be cruising a lot more. But it wasn't bad, honestly. It's not going to kill you to go on it. I will say that. So, yeah, if you go on the cruise, let me know how you enjoyed yourself and how you liked it. But still, keep an open mind about it. And don't let all of the negative reviews change your mind. Oh, let me talk about the food really quick, like the buffet food and stuff like that. Breakfast, I love breakfast. I love breakfast. Breakfast was amazing. You have your omelet station, so the guy made me an egg white omelet the way that I wanted it, so that was a plus. And then the buffet breakfast, they had a lot of different options, a lot of different fruit, so that was good. Dinner, it just really depends on what you eat and what type of food that you want. They had different fish, they had vegetables, so it wasn't bad. Now that was lunch. Dinner the first night was kind of, because the food, it looked very good, but it was bland. It wasn't no taste to it really. And then, you know what, you got to think that some people can't have all that sodium and salt, so maybe they make the food bland to accommodate for everyone. So a lot of people, even because we got set at a big table where there were other people at our table that we didn't know, and they were pissed. They were so pissed. So that's another reason why we decided to actually pay for dinner that next night and do a nice dinner. And like I said, that nice dinner was everything I could have asked for and more. Oh, it was so good every time I think about it. But so yeah, I kind of have mixed emotions about that dinner. It was okay, but like I said, you have to go into it with the open mind, and you have to make the situation positive. Period. That's life. Okay, so just keep an open mind about it. And like I said, don't let the reviews stop you from going to the Bahamas on this little 3-day, 2-night cruise. Because it could be very fun for you and your family just to get away really quickly. If you want something upscale and extravagant, then go on something else. Yeah, but see you guys later.
Yeah, here we go.
Living my best life.
Yep.
This water feels so good.
It's clear too, you know what I mean?
Can you see my butt?
Fuck yeah.
heard that one. First in line for some They savages, bro. They said we about to get all the food.